Okay, so I do not know about you, but in my opinion, the latest episode of From gave us a whole lot of nothing. There were way too many subplots simultaneously intertwined, with Victor discovering the man in yellow's clothes being the final hook to tease us about what to come in the next episode. But episode 4 of season 4 is titled as Of Myths and Monsters, which means we have to wait another week for From to give us answers to some of the show's most asked questions. I'm honestly very stoked for this because the next installment has been labeled as a reward for longtime fans. Even if every important revelation in From ends up raising a plethora of darker questions, at this point, the townspeople in Fromville truly need a few breadcrumbs after all that incessant searching in episode 3. Of course, that won't stop us from coming up with theories, so without wasting another moment, let's discuss what could possibly happen in the 4th episode of season 4.
I told myself it wasn't real. I told myself it wasn't real.
Victor is going to be the most important character in the next episode. I've always seen From as an elaborate escape room that nobody has managed to solve, and amidst all the chaos, Victor is the only one who can help the residents solve the puzzles in order to escape this hellhole. However, the issue is, Victor is also the product of the horrors in Fromville, so even if he has already lived through the town's previous cycle and is now watching it all repeat in a different setting, someone still needs to help him remember what had truly happened to him in the 70s. In episode 3, when he finds the discarded clothes left behind by the man in yellow amidst the woods, Victor tragically pees himself out of fear and then starts spiraling. That is our immediate hint that Victor has indeed met the man in yellow before, and seeing the yellow suit just lying to be found in the forest jogged his memory about what his arrival really meant. Because this is not Victor's first rodeo, he knows that the last time the man in yellow appeared, everyone and everything in Fromville tore itself apart. More importantly, his experience was so traumatic that Victor believed the man in yellow to not be real. However, now that he knows what can happen next, I'm sure in the next episode we will see him going through all his previously drawn pictures in order to really uncover the truth of what might come next. In fact, given the episode's title, we might just be lucky enough to get an origin story for the man in yellow, which will definitely give our main characters some insights on how to tackle all the horrors that he is about to unleash on them. The townspeople might find out about the infiltrator. The best way to tear apart a group of people who are already on edge is by making them believe that there is an imposter living among them. The residents of Fromville have already been struggling by counting one loss after another, but what happens when they find out there is someone living along with them while pretending to be a human? This means they're no longer safe even during the day or under the protection of a talisman hanging by the door. Plus, Sophia, aka the man in yellow, has already jump-started a process by trying to implant the thought of the Matthews family being the real reason why the town has been having such a tumultuous period of loss after going months without having a single incident. People living in a constant survival mode will readily believe anything in order to make sense of their predicament, and we have seen countless examples of that during the previous seasons. So if they do start blaming one another for the tragedy that has befallen them, it won't be long before they start tearing themselves apart. Also, in the preview for episode 4, we literally see Sophia claiming how she has already started playing and given a constant tease about how everything is changing in Fromville. I have a feeling that all the rules and myths that the townspeople knew about the monsters are about to change. Given the main monster is no longer living outside, everyone in town would inevitably want to know who is truly human and who is the evil in disguise. After they realize how a monster can pass for a normal human, no one will trust each other ever again. Boyd is already at his breaking point, and with the community filling up with fear and distrust, if some sort of dangerous infighting were to start up now, all hell would truly break loose. Jade will probably be tripping for most part of the next episode. Jade has always been a progressive thinker. He has always looked for logic in every mystery the town has pelted him with, and even in the most illogical situations, that man has racked his brain to try and figure out how to escape the hellhole they're all stuck in. Honestly, he did get on all our nerves initially, but at this point, Jade seems to be the best chance people have of surviving the town's loop of horror. The man has always tried to connect the pieces and look for answers to a point that even the forces within the town seem to be trying to help him reach a conclusion. In the latest episode, Jade asks Boyd to source him some LSD, so just like Miranda, he too can unlock his dormant memories after the acid trip. Of course, Boyd, being Boyd, refrains to entertain Jade's request and insists him to not do anything that could lead him to break his mind. I mean, Boyd has a point. It takes one mistake to get you killed in Fromville. Jade is a brave man to even think of going on an acid trip in a creepy-ass town designed to kill everyone in it. Anyway, the town delivers on Jade's request as he ends up finding magic mushrooms growing on a patch near the tree where Victor was having an episode. Given that nothing is ever random in this godforsaken place, this basically means that in the next episode, Jade is going to use it as a hallucinogenic drug in order to expand his mind and unlock his memories. Plus, this won't be his first rodeo, as he was a recreational drug user during his old life, because if you remember, Jade was passed out for a long time when he first came into town with his friend Toby. In the previous episode 4, we see Jade weirdly walking through the woods and later mentioning how he found the answers he had been looking for, which is another tease about how he's going to end up unlocking a very important mystery of the past. Acosta's investigation skills might finally be of some help. Ever since Acosta has come into town, being a cop has been her entire personality, which is very ironic given that we have only seen her put people's life at risk as of yet. But as annoying as she has been, the town does that to people who refuse to accept her fate, and that is why Acosta insisted Boyd to give her a bullet so she can unalive herself far away in the woods before things take a turn for the worst. Luckily, Boyd refuses to give up on saving her and decides to put her to work by taking her to the storage shed in order to look through every item and treat the place like a crime scene, so she can sift out something that feels off. Because Boyd was never trained to be a cop, he could have missed out on an important detail that Acosta could find, as she had trained for such important tasks. Now, even if Boyd did send her out for a wild goose chase, it is very much possible that Acosta could end up uncovering some very important pieces of the town's past. In fact, she could even find a photo of Sophia, or maybe the man in yellow from one of the previous cycles, because from Victor's reaction, it seems like the man in yellow always came back to infiltrate the town right before the end of a cycle. And not just that, there could also be diary entries or journals that Boyd could have missed that could help them further their goal of escaping this hellhole. Julie will go storywalking again. Julie's whole storywalking ability was a theory that Ethan came up with, and that is why she and Randall went looking for Ethan's books underneath the rubble of their house in the latest episode. Given that Randall has managed to get the books out of the rubble, this means they will go through the fight of the Chromonocle and stumble upon something that will help Julie in exploring the true extent of her powers. In the preview and leaks for the next episode, we see Julie walking through the arches of the ruins, and then in one of her story walks, she is seen with short hair standing right in the middle of town. As she turns, Julie notices the entire street littered with dead bodies, with a man in yellow sitting on the ground and hunching with his back facing her. This probably means that Julie time traveled back into the past, possibly during the time that Victor was a kid. My guess is that she went back to the morning that Victor gets out of the root cellar to find the entire town dead, and maybe that is when he meets the man in yellow for the first time. In fact, some of the things she sees might also make Victor an unreliable source of information for the town's past cycle. Having said that, this encounter might mean that her life will always be in danger from the moment after. I am truly excited to see how Julie reaches the pinnacle of her powers as a story walker, and while the next episode might help us understand bits and pieces of the town's history through her, we are probably not getting everything all at once. From loves to slow burn, it's fans after all. Sarah is about to become a pawn in Sophia's schemes. As you know, at the end of episode 3, Sophia chooses to go live with Sarah, which truly is the reason for our utmost concern. We know that Sophia wants to terrorize the people in Fromville and turn them against one another, but Sarah has been living as the town's pariah ever since everyone realized she tried to kill Ethan, murdered her own brother in the process, killed Jade's friend, and led all the monsters inside the clinic, thus leading to the death of Kenny's dad. Since then, no matter how hard she has tried to redeem herself, everyone blames Sarah in case anything goes wrong in a town. Plus, in the preview, we see the evil voices haunting her making a comeback, which means that she will once again be under the influence of the town. It is also possible that Sophia is the one pulling the strings by making Sarah hear the voices. Given the close quarters they will be in, Sophia could pretend to help Sarah by helping her make sense of the voices, but in turn, she could be leading her astray by making her commit the first act of terror that could lead the town to tear each other apart. Honestly, that girl has suffered so much since season 1, and she cannot catch a break. It will be awful to see Boyd break down as Sarah goes completely rogue, to a point that he is forced to do something awful about it. I am horrified to even think about how the man in yellow could use her as a pawn in jump-starting the bloody chaos. And well, that brings me to the very end of this video. What do you guys think might happen in the next episode? More importantly, what is your most asked question in From Season 4? Let us know about your thoughts and theories in the comment box down below.